bit of rum. Tip that pan. Move that around. Just gonna burn up all of that alcohol. Confession I must make. I am not the biggest fan of salmon, and coincidentally or oddly enough, I prefer canned salmon because that's what I grew up on, canned salmon, even though we lived in the Caribbean and ocean all over the place. But salmon, 3 pieces. There's only a couple people in this house who would actually eat this, so I'm not going to go overboard. And here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. There is a beautiful recipe for jerk salmon done by our St. Lucian sister Terry Ann. So I'm not even trying to overdo it with this recipe because her recipe is boss. So if you really want a nice recipe and you want to take another look at this, head over and check Terry Ann over on her channel. Salt. And the only reason why I'm really doing this recipe is because it was requested, and I try to make recipes that people ask me to do. I have another salmon recipe coming up. You're gonna love that one. That one involves honey and garlic and all those nice things. Sea salt, black pepper, not too heavy on the salt. I've got here a heaping tablespoon of jerk marinade, and if you saw my stew jerk chicken, it is the same marinade I used there, something from the store, and I just diluted it a bit just to make it a bit more runny with a tablespoon of olive oil. If you want to make your own marinade, by all means do so. The skin is still on the underside of the salmon, and I did that purposely because that's going to be the side we sear. That skin is going to absorb all that heat and do wonderful things. We're just going to brush that jerk marinade all over the top of that salmon, and my salmon has been washed and it's been pat dry, so that is why I'm able to stick the marinade on there. And that is it as far as seasoning is concerned. And the reason why I went a bit light with the salt, it is because I know this jerk marinade has soy sauce in it, which is a sodium element, you know what I mean? Because there's salt there already. And I'm also going on the sides as well too, if you haven't noticed already. In the meanwhile, preheat the oven to 450 degrees because yeah, we're gonna finish this off in the oven. And that is it for now. I have my cast iron pot, and you need something that's oven proof because we will finish this off in the oven, as I said, on a medium high heat. I've got a tablespoon of olive oil. I'm going in with a tablespoon of butter, just plain old salted butter. I'm going to move that around. I've got that lovely little shimmering happening in the pan here. So this is where I'm going to introduce my salmon. It's been a minute, and I'm just trying to form a little bit of a crust on that skin. I'm just going to tip and pour some of that butter oil combination just on the top of it, just to start pulling down some of that jerk marinade into the festivity. Been over 4 minutes, and we're going to go in with a bit of rum. Tip that pan, move that around. Just going to burn up all of that alcohol. Now with all of that alcohol burnt up, I'm going in with some orange juice. Give that another little stir. And I want some brown sugar directly on top of the salmon fillets, the sort of little portion-sized pieces of salmon that I got here, and that's going to help create a glaze for the glaze. So it's not just a jerk, it's also about that rum and that brown sugar glaze, as well as the orange juice that you saw me put there. I'm just going to put a tiny bit more sugar on here, and that's going to go into the oven now, 450 degrees. Sup soldiers, Listen, if you enjoy this recipe, I'd really appreciate it if you hit subscribe and click that bell notification thing. If you've made the recipe, take a picture and send it to me, email address down here. I mean, trying to tell people the email address, them butts will take the address and do all kind of thing with it. And tag me on Instagram at Caribbean Pot. I really appreciate you guys, and thanks for being in my kitchen with me today. Irie? Irie. 3.5 minutes in the oven there, nothing more because I really don't want to overcook it. What I do have is some cold butter, and I'm just going to move around that butter, let that butter melt in there, and that's going to help me create that lovely sauce to top on top of my rice. I've got a bit of lemon juice, nothing too much, and as that butter melts with the residual heat, I'm going in with some finely chopped parsley. And ladies and gentlemen, it was as easy as that. That cold butter will give you a nice creamy sauce. Notice how that sauce is going nice and creamy there. I'm going to take some of that, pour it onto the salmon like so. Melt that down. Bring all that brown sugar, jerk, orange, rum goodness into play. Chris here, CaribbeanPot.com. Always a pleasure having you guys here in the kitchen with me. Simple, quick, tasty. Can't go wrong. Irie? Irie.